You know, the retouching we did on these homepage images, not the ones I took, but the other ones, like the street shots, came out awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, what I want to do is feature the successful and talented Janine DiVita by reading some of your credits so people know who the hell you are if they don't already.
They don't know who I am? Oh, spells man. Go to artist.
Why don't you call it bio so we know where to click?
What? Bio?
Artist, here we are.
Under work. Scroll up.
Oh, Jesus Christ, am I supposed to read this?
I'm sorry.
The Bible is shorter than this.
Very successful.
Okay. Well, oh my God.
I'm totally kidding.
All right, this is obnoxious.
Totally kidding.
Get out. Get
I'm
the
sorry.
hell out.
I know. The font is really small.
All right, here's if people want to know what a snobby resume looks like. All right, I was going to read off Janine's resume, but that would be the entire podcast. But she's been featured on film and TV series such as The Deuce, Evil Elementary, The Americans, Hear My Song, This Is the Moment. She's done Broadway. She was Rizzo on Grease, which is where I had met Janine through the late Derek Keeling, who has unfortunately passed this past year. Yeah. She was in The Mystery of Edwin Drood, Anything Goes. She did the national tour Finding Neverland, If Then, Young Frankenstein, Off-Broadway, and a shit ton of regionals, concert work. It's crazy. Crazy, too long to list here. But you started as a Broadway actress, and now you're segueing into TV and film.
Yeah.
But you still do theater.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to school? I know where you went to school, but I want people to know, because this would be really nice for aspiring actors to sort of hear your career path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're one of the 1% that makes it to Broadway and thrives on Broadway and out of it and has a snobby resume like this.
I went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
You're from Kansas.
I'm from Kansas City.
What's the difference?
Well, I'm from both sides of Kansas City.
Oh, that's right.
It's
you were from
split.
Oh, that's right. You are from both sides of Kansas City. Yeah.
Well, my mom's from. I grew up mostly on the Kansas side, but I got married on the Missouri side.
So, did you? Mm-hmm. You didn't get married on the Kansas side?
No, we got married downtown.
Huh.
Yeah, but my dad lives on the Missouri side.
Yeah.
Am I close enough? I'm good.
Yes, you are. The levels are good. So you went to University of Michigan as a musical theater student. And I've told you this before, but I know people that went to your class, and the teachers used to tell the students, don't do what she's doing because she's got some special going on that you guys are going to hurt yourself doing. So you were...
Wait, who said that?
I'll tell you afterwards. Probably better not to mention names, but
so
yeah,
funny.
but you people that went to school with you, you probably guessed if you took 3 guesses. So you went to University of Michigan. You did showcase at Michigan. Mm-hmm. I want to know what led you on to Broadway. Like, what was the role? So you did showcase. Did you get an agent during showcase?
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah.
What would you suggest to someone that doesn't get an agent at showcase?
Well, it depends on if you're union or if you're not union.
Most likely they're not. Most actors in college are non-union, right? At that point, even at big CCM, Michigan.
Yeah. Most are non-union. I mean, the best thing you can do is to book something in the city and invite people to come see it. Like that's the fastest way, or just through recommendations, submitting yourself for things. But really, what you can do to take control of things is to get to know the casting directors, because the casting directors are really the gatekeepers to the shows. You know, so like if you don't have an agent, okay, so go around the agent and just go straight to the source, which is the casting director.
But still pursue getting an agent.
Yeah, but in the meantime, but then you'll get a job through a casting director, and then the casting director can then recommend you to an agent because they just cast you. So there are multiple ways of getting an agent beyond a showcase.
Had you not got an agent, the next step would be to move to New York, regardless. You would have moved to New York City regardless.
I would have, yeah.
And then you would have self-submitted, auditioned, and then book something to get the attention of an agent. That's what you're saying.
Yep. That's what I would have done.
Do you feel like going to here's another question I get from parents actually sometimes, and I'm sure, and anyone that's 17 or 18 looking to go to university, and you and I used to talk about this, and I would always play devil's advocate with it. So going to university versus moving to New York. So is it worth the 40 to 60K per year, 4 years on the theater education, opposed to taking that 160K and investing it living in New York with getting real experience and either doing one of the conservatories or just taking weekend classes or evening classes and audition during the day?
Totally.
What are your thoughts and input on that?
I think honestly, it really depends on the individual, and it depends on your financial means, and it depends on your family. Like, it depends on so many different factors for what is the right choice for you. Like, I didn't know anything about this business. I didn't know anything about New York. Like, New York would have eaten me alive at 17, 18 years old. It would have eaten me alive. I mean, I was homesick even going to Ann Arbor, Michigan. You know, I remember my first semester, I like cried like every day, you know, because I missed home. So I don't think that was for me. Now, do I think that college is way too expensive? Absolutely. But I think that the training that I got personally and the relationships that I created there really served me well when I moved here. It's not the path that everybody should take, and it's not the only path.
Yeah.
I mean, you could move here if you were mature enough and had, you know, the wherewithal to come here and withstand the craziness of New York as, you know, basically a fetus at 17 years old, 18 years old. Like, if you can do that and you have the support of your family and you know, maybe that's the best move. You know, maybe it's the best move to come here and go to a college here so that you're already in the center of it, you know? For some people, it's better to, you know, move here and simultaneously, but I didn't have that big of a plan. Like, I didn't have a plan. I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to go to Michigan because it was such a good program and I could double major there. Like, that was my plan.
They definitely sell you on the dream at the universities, right? I mean, there's definitely a stigma attached to the prestige of going to Michigan or Carnegie Mellon or CCM.
I wouldn't say that they sell you on it. I think that they really do respect the institution of education. Like, I think they really do respect that. I don't think that they sell you on it.
I didn't put that right.
I think that there's a respect for the educational aspect of it, and like really looking at the history of the theater and like where you come from and where all these techniques come from, and you getting a really well-rounded education, you know, beyond theater. You know, I took a ton of Spanish, and I double majored in communications. I took stats classes, you know. I took stuff like that, you know.
Do you think it's a good idea to dual major to sort of have a plan B or backup option?
I mean, that's what I did just because that's me. I mean, I've always needed some kind of like, in order for me to do this business, because I don't know. I really also enjoy using the right side of my brain. Like, I enjoy using both sides of my brain, and I've always been like that. So for me to just do theater, I felt like I was compromising the other side of my brain. And then for me to just do that side, I felt like I was compromising my artistic side. So for me, I've always wanted to, I've always tried to balance the two.
You know what? And I was just talking, and this is like just really settling in, having spoke with someone today about this. If you're great, regardless of your path or where you're positioned, you're going to end up doing great things. If you're destined to be great and you are great at what you're doing, whether you go to university or move straight to New York, if you're that good, you're going to end up in the same position. You will get noticed. So I guess it makes sense to sort of do what feels right.
Yeah,
and like you mentioned too, the positioning too. If you have the money to spend on university, then you should go there.
Yeah, if you can. I don't think that you should go.
But it's not the path to success, because you've worked with other hyper successful people that have not gone to college,
Absolutely.
Right? Right.
Absolutely.
Both dancers and actors, and like that's.
Yeah, I've worked with both. You know, and you know, they never had college loans to pay off. You know,
in this business, all that matters is the end result, right? Mm-hmm. Like, which is, are you amazing or not?
To get a job, yes.
Yeah.
To be fulfilled, no, but yes.
Yeah, that's a whole other question. And then to get an agent, does it help having a strong university to get a good agent? Or again, there's plenty of people that did not go to university that have great agents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's really about getting, there's no right way. And that's what's hard. That's what's hard about this business. It's not linear in the way that other professions are, where you get promoted and then you get promoted more and then you get promoted again and yada, yada. It's not like that. It's not that way. There's no real like headhunter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Your headhunter is essentially the agent, but there are other ways to go about applying for a job online too, like any other job, you know?
Yeah.
There are ways to get your face in front of the people who need to meet you.
Yeah.
There are ways to do that. And I think you need to be ambitious and you need to be really bold in addition to being talented. Like, I don't think that, and I think talent is very subjective because it's about being right for that particular role.
Yep.
It's very, very subjective.
Yep.
And I think that trends are changing now. It's not just about being cookie cutter anymore, which is amazing. So people are really, audiences are craving diversity, and they're craving like reality. They're craving like real people, you know, so, which I love. So I don't think that there's any right way, and there's no one type you should be. You just, which is hard because they always say like, you know, be you, but like you don't really know who you are at 22. So that's like really hard because you're trying to be what everybody else wants you to be. And then you kind of realize who you are like a little later on, at least in my experience. And so I spent, you know, all of my 20s just like being like, who should I be? Who should I be? And that's just a hard thing. So like my advice would just be like, do what really feels right and do what the people you love support. Because if they aren't supporting it, then maybe there's something off a little bit because they know you. So there's really no right way, but just getting in front of the people that you need to be in front of and being bold in that move. You have to be bold and you have to be committed.
So for any new person, their energy, you would suggest devoting their time and energy towards getting in front of the right people.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, and this is common, I think it's a common human flaw. I shouldn't say I think. I've seen this as a common mistake, and I've done it myself, which is spending too much time in preparation. Let me get the perfect reel. Let me get the perfect resume. Let me wait until my website's perfect. Opposed to just get in front of the right freaking people and don't worry about spending 2 years on like building the perfect reel. Like just get yourself in front of these people. Like if you're good, they'll notice that.
Well, yeah. And like, how are you going to get a reel if you're not going to get in front of those people and get the work? You know, I think you need to be...
That's solid advice. So like anyone that's listening, I think that's huge. Invest your time getting in front of the right people. That's where your energy should be, to position yourself to get in front of the right people, which in this case, in this business, it's casting directors and agents.
Well, and it's you got to think about strategy. Like, look at the people who are the decision makers. Who are the decision makers? It's the casting directors. They decide who's getting in front of the creative team. Okay, the director, the producer, those are the ultimate decision makers. Okay, but they sometimes don't know what they want until they go through the audition process. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's one thing to have a director and a producer and a music director all like know you and love you, but it's no guarantee though that just because they love you, you're going to continue on with a project. So it's best to really get to know the casting directors because they're working on so many projects. So your risk is lessened because you're diversifying, because they work on so many projects. So if you make fans of casting directors, they'll call you in when you're right for those, 100 projects that they're working on. It's also, of course, make friends with directors, of course, make friends with music directors, but they're also starting their careers. Like, they're also trying to get gigs because they're creatives as well. It's kind of, it's just an interesting dynamic because artists, directors, music directors, actors, choreographers, like we're all creatives and we're all trying to create things and we're all trying to, you know, get the next job and create the next big thing and, you know, have our point of views be recognized. And it's the producers and the casting directors who really are the ones who give the green light for a lot of things. So like the producers give the green light for the funding. The casting directors give the green light for you getting in that room. So it's like, it's twofold. You know, you got to get to know those people who give those green lights, and then you've got to give those people who are the creatives who you can collaborate with on a really creative level. So it's both. I mean, it's get in front of those people though. Like I would think of it more as like here are the business executives I need to get to know. Here are the teammates that I need to get to know in order to create great work. Do you know what I mean? And then everybody all works together, but you have to know those people and jive with those people because those are the people that you're going to be creating with. I don't know. That was a very long-winded answer, but I do.
No, I think that paints a great picture. And actually, I would not have thought.
There's so many different players in this industry beyond the acting community, like just the actors. There's so many people. There are, you know, people who, but here's the thing though too, it's like the people who work in marketing work really closely with the producers to bring their vision to light. So like you have a friend who works at O&M or something like that, you know, they're really in touch with the producers of whatever show they're repping, you know, and they're the ones who, you know, might be out to drinks with them one night. You know what I mean? Like you just never know. And it's always just good to like not view, I hate the word networking. It's more just like building your community. Like that's kind of how I view it. Like it's
like that.
It's building.
I like that phrase.
It's building your community. It's building your village, and that village is what enables you to do the work that you want to do.
You know what I like about how you phrase that? Networking to me sounds disingenuous.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're trying to use people.
Mm-hmm.
Building your community sounds like coming from a more genuine approach.
Yeah, like you have a goal, like you have like a something that you're pursuing, like a passion that you're pursuing, like a point of view that needs to be heard. It's more rooted in like a truthful place of something that you're working towards.
And if you're new, don't fucking schmooze people that you're trying to attract towards you. It's the tackiest thing, and people smell it a mile away. To try to schmooze. If you're disingenuous, be genuine when you meet people. Mm-hmm. And try not to elevate them above you or below, or you know, demote them below you, depending on where they are.
And be genuine about what your aspirations are.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anything to be embarrassed when you say like, you know, I'm still trying to get in front of these people. I'd really, you know,
it translates so much better when you're just upfront and you're telling them if you're new. That's like, people are okay with that. You don't have to fudge and say you've been here and you didn't, like, because then people know right away if you're fudging it or not.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
And don't make excuses about it, because everybody is.
Do not make
everybody
excuses.
Has been there. Everybody has been frustrated.
Yep.
Everybody feels like it's never going to happen for them. Yeah. Everybody has felt like that at some point in their life. And so, like, sincerity and honesty, I think, are just they're rare, and I think it goes really it's very well received. To be genuine and honest,
and forward, just to be yourself, which is hard to do in front of, especially when you're new. You end up running in circles, and hopefully, if you're smart, you end up where you started, which is being you. You try all these different things. And you just want to please, and you want to be liked, and all that. Throw all that crap out the window. Like, if you're listening and you're at that phase, skip that and just do you. Seriously, if you're smart, you'll end up where you started anyways, which is you. Don't put on face. Just do you. Work as hard as you can, and like try to be the best you possibly can. If you were to distill sort of distill where you are now, distill that into like 4 different words, what would be like those 4 words?
Where I am now?
Where you are now, which is a successful working actor. You have your hands on the business side of things now. So, and you are completely self-made. I know it for a fact that you built yourself from the bottom up, put in some hard years and years, right?
Yeah.
Not months, not weeks, like years, not 1, 2, 3 years. We're talking a long time. If you were to distill sort of the qualities that it takes to get to where you are, not anyone else, what would those 4 words be?
So are you looking for the qualities that
brought you to where you are? Janine DiVita. Not what it takes for anyone to be successful.
What it took for me?
For you to be where you are now.
Oh, goodness.
What's the first word that comes to mind?
Drive.
Okay, that's great.
Curiosity. Challenge. And growth.
In growth.
Growth.
So let's list that out. First one you said was drive.
Drive.
Then the second was challenge. Growth.
Curiosity. No, challenge, curiosity. No, it was, what was it? Oh, shoot.
Drive.
It was drive, curiosity.
Curiosity.
Challenge. And growth.
And growth.
Yes.
The drive is the engine. I mean, that's your fire that keeps you putting left foot in front of right and keep charging forward.
The drive is also resilience. You know, like the drive is also something that, you know, you pick yourself up when you're down. You know, I think that's something in this business, in this city, that everybody experiences. Everybody gets knocked down in the city. So if you don't have the drive helps you stay resilient.
Speaking to that, does the sort of self-doubt and where the resilience comes into play, does that ever go away? No matter how high you are in the pecking order?
What, resilience?
Needing that resilience.
I don't think so. I mean,
it's
I
all
don't
relative,
think so.
right?
It's all relative because, like, even, you know, now I'm doing so many other things. You know, I'm running the USO show troupe. I'm directing all that stuff. There are expectations there, you know, and there are so many challenges there. And how do I rise to the occasion to manage all these things? You know, when I'm working on my writing projects and my producing and stuff like that, how do I rise to that occasion? How do I rise to the occasion of shooting a show? And how do I rise to the occasion of, you know, going in for an audition when I just got the sides and, oh my gosh, I have to do this. It's like that resiliency of just knowing that you can handle it.
Let me flip the question now. Now that you're on the flip side of the table a bit in terms of hiring people and building your own like a broader network from a higher position, give me 3 qualities that you look for in people that you want to surround yourself by, that sort of that you put out there, that you gauge people by, like, you want to bring them in or not.
Hardworking.
That's 2. No, I'm joking.
Hardworking, definitely.
Not easy question. It's not.
It's
an easy
really
question.
hard. Hardworking. Exciting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And warm.
Those are good 3.
Yeah, I look for people who are exciting, hardworking, and warm.
You can apply that to personal life as well, right?
Absolutely.
You can kind of, and it probably is consistent on who is in your close network.
Yeah.
Probably meets all those qualities.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I would not have thought of 2 of those 3.
Which one?
I would not have thought of warm, which I think is great, and what was the second one? And exciting. Like, I wouldn't have thought of to use that, but I think that would actually be on if I were to list like 3 to 4 qualities, Exciting would definitely be one.
Yeah, you got to be around people who are exciting.
Yeah.
Who like want to do things.
Yeah.
And
I agree. Not everyone likes that though, you know?
Yeah. When you're like bread, the world needs bread and roses. You know what I mean? They're both equally valuable.
Yeah.
But in this business for performers, like you need to be the rose.
Yeah.
You need to be exciting. You need to be beautiful. You need to bring beauty to the world.
Yeah.
You know, bread, you know, we need the bread. We need the sustenance. We need those people who are steady and hardworking and, you know, make the world go round. But artists are roses. They're flowers. They're, you know, and that's what we need to be.
Yeah.
That's what we're called to be.
I like that. I have some other drag questions I want to ask you. I've heard this question asked before, but I've always find it interesting. What word do you hate most?
Moist.
Ah!
I hate that word. I hate it so much.
Yo.
Were you being serious? Like what word I hate?
That's it. No, that's a totally a legit word. That needs to be erased. I've got one too. I don't even want to say it.
Or I also hate the word diseased.
Really?
Because it makes it sound like, it makes me think of like something that's like an infection, like a skin's gonna like, I don't know. It's just like really gross. Like I sometimes don't like certain kinds of prints because I think it looks like an infection, like polka dots, like really small polka dots.
Interesting.
I think it looks like chicken pox to me. Like I can't wear really, really tiny polka dots because it grosses me out.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
I
weird,
didn't know
right?
that. I did not know that about you. What career advice would you give 18-year-old Janine?
Oh God.
So pre-college.
Pre-college, Janine.
Right before going to University of Michigan, waiting for the acceptance letter, but you've already put in the application.
You know better.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Don't do it. Don't do
it. You know better.
Don't do it.
No,
You're not a good decision.
I'm kidding. It would be trust this. Trust this. Yeah.
Boy, if you could live by that phrase from the age of 18 to now, your life would have a lot less stress in it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
oh,
Christ.
yeah.
Boy.
I always found something to negate the path. You know what I mean? It's like I know it's like, you know that, have you seen Tootsie?
With Dustin Hoffman?
Well, the movie, but there's a musical. I just saw it last night for the first time. I can't believe it took me that long. But there's a song in there. It's like, I know what's gonna happen. Da, 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 da. It's like she always like gets in her head like nothing good can happen because she's like, I know what's gonna happen. Da, da, da. Anyway, it's very funny. And I just started thinking, I was like, oh my God, that's so ever. She plays this like really neurotic actress.
She's saying, I know what's gonna happen. That like it's good that will happen.
No, it's gonna fall to shit. That's what she means. So like I was always so skeptical that I would be okay. I was always so skeptical of that.
There's a really interesting There's really interesting data about that.
Really?
Yeah. Not hokey pokey. I'm not calling the law of attraction hokey pokey. I truly believe what you put out there, which is really important. But there's actually scientific data too that about your programming, right? So for the first 7 years, and I'm not going to butcher this too much, but essentially the first 7 years is when you get your programming from your upbringing, your environment on your outlook. So if you're told that life is difficult and things are a struggle and poverty is your baseline, you're much more likely to have a difficult time overcoming a lot of those qualities because you've sort of been programmed to fear, to fear, and also to that's your baseline. It's just like really stupid people that are hyper successful from successful families. The second they engage their conscious and speak, they sound like dummies, but for some reason they're still hyper successful. Why is that? They say it's because of the programming. The way to override that programming is through repetition and consistency. You can you cheat the subconscious It's like, I'm not happy, but you tell yourself I'm happy. If you physically engage that constantly, over time, your subconscious starts to believe that. It's similar to what you're talking about here, where if you are repetitive, you're saying all the time, it's going to happen. It makes it much more difficult for good things to happen, opposed to,
Totally.
I am great, this will happen.
Totally.
It's hard to do that because it's like going to the gym 7 days a week, 20 times a day to stay in that frame of mind. But if you want to override the program, that's why it's so hard to change your ways, because it is hard. It's beaten into you as a child, and it becomes your hardwiring. There's a really interesting doctor that wrote a book about this, and he has a YouTube
What's the name
clip.
of it?
I'll put it in the link, but I'll put it in the link.
Yeah.
And I'll look it up afterwards.
Interesting.
It's a really interesting.
I believe that, though. Yeah.
I thought it felt like he was speaking to me. When they're talking about like life's a struggle, your problem, like those are all the things that was my upbringing, and those are all the things I struggle with today.
Yeah.
And from the outside, you would think I wouldn't have issues with any of those, and those are some of those things are on the top of my list of things I'm working. I will override and overcome, but that I'm faced with, and I'm like, that's why the programming was there. At this point, we're all adults, so you just take ownership and you just have to reprogram your thinking. That's all there is to it, just like a computer.
So interesting.
But very true. Yeah, I'll send you everyone should listen to that. And it proves that you are not a product of your past. Like, you take control of you. If you want to change it, you can. Just put in the goddamn work.
Word.
What career advice would you give 23-year-old Janine? So this is Janine out of college now. However old you were when you got out of college.
Have a plan. I had no plan.
You just moved to New York on a whim.
Yes, I had no plan. I had an agent, and I was union.
What the hell kind of plan can you really have, though?
I achieved I got to a point that I wanted really, really quickly. I got my Broadway debut not even a year out of college. I had no idea what to do with that kind of success at that point. It's very, not that I was a celebrity or anything like that, but like for me, like starring as, a principal on Broadway at that time, I wasn't quite sure what to do career-wise, you know what I mean? And how I could have capitalized on that in a better way. Granted, social media wasn't what it is now. So like there wasn't a way for me to do all this stuff with it. But like, I feel like I could have gotten more creative of like how to, reach more people and all of that. And then, I also would have told myself, I'm torn on this one actually, because I spent a lot of time out of town touring, doing regional, doing all these amazing roles all over the country.
I'm unaware of that.
I know. You spent a lot of time as a boyfriend by yourself while I was on tour.
Not really, though. We traveled around quite a bit. I tagged along. I thought that was a fun adventure.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But then, you get back and I missed out on being in the room for a lot of things because I was gone. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should have just waited tables here and waited for the next big opportunity. You know what I mean? Rather than leaving town. But then again, you look back on things and you're like, okay, well, those roles shaped me. Those women who I played, they totally shaped me now. Yeah. So and now I'm not leaving town anymore unless it's something I'm completely obsessed with. I'm here in the city and I'm working in the city, but there's a choice that you make. I think when you are 23, 24, it's like, do you want to spend those 5 or 6 years of your 20s while you're here out of college, 7 years out of, do you want to spend that traveling around, building your resume, creating these roles, playing these roles, whatever, and not be available for other things here? Or do you want to wait tables, get a temp job, pound the pavement, and really stick it out until, the dream thing comes along that you really, but then again, those things were my dream. Like that's what I wanted at that time. So all I'm saying is that I think about that now of like what it would have been like for me just to have gotten a job waiting tables and, you know, stuck it out and then gotten on a TV show, hopefully. You know what I mean? And then it would have been different. But that at that point in my life, that wasn't my goal. My goal was just to work. I wanted to just work. And I didn't feel, and my identity, a lot of my identity was wrapped up in whether or not I was working or not, which isn't the healthiest thing. But it really was. Like my whole like self-worth. If I wasn't working, I felt like crap. If I was working, I felt confident. And it's something I've worked on a lot with myself because now I'm not doing 8 shows a week all the time. So I have a lot of time where I'm just, you know, I'm not doing a show, but I'll shoot a TV show for a couple days and then I'll, you know, do a reading or whatever. But it's not the same kind of rigorous schedule where like I'm so wrapped up in it. So that's something though that I think that young people should think about though, of what they really want. Like, do they want to just continue working? And also, is your identity wrapped up in that? Because if it is, then maybe you should take a step back. And then the other question is, do you want to just wait until the right thing comes along? It kind of depends on where you are. But at that point, I just do think about that now. I'm like, but would I have been happy? You know, I'm such a workhorse that like, I don't know if I would have been happy moving to the city, waiting tables when that's not what I moved here to do.
I get it when someone is doing a cruise ship or even some people that do like I've been on some of these shows that are running forever and they jump ship off the show. The goal is to be working. It's very hard to be consistently working
absolutely.
actor.
And I worked consistently all throughout my 20s. I just now look back and I'm like, well, what if I had been here and not out of town?
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean? It's just like,
it's always,
you know, you always look back and you just are like, well, what if this, what if that? You know, who knows? But at 23, would
you have done it any differently though?
I don't think so. I
don't think so either.
Because I'm still the same person. Like at that point at 23, I wouldn't have had a different personality. And my personality at that time in my life was, I want to work. I want to put the skills that I've learned and the skills that I've honed to use.
The range of work that you did through that period, I mean, it's all over the place. You did so much.
I know.
You'd have to work. To sit and push plates around, waiting for the big one, which you would have. Again, I default to what we said earlier. If you're gonna do something great, you're gonna end up doing great stuff. If you're good enough to be on Broadway, you will end up on Broadway. Whether you do cruise ships for a few years, whether
you'll end
regionals.
up there.
Yeah.
If it's your path, you'll end up there for sure.
And not just because it's your destiny, it's because you're good. You have to be good to end up there, and then all the other variables that fit into that. You're the right for the part in all this.
Yeah. Hardworking, exciting, and warm.
I'm with you. I think that's a great description. This isn't on here, but this is another common question. Would you regret not moving to Los Angeles ever?
No, I don't. I thought about moving up there.
If you were set out to do TV and film, would you move to New York or LA?
Oh gosh, New York. I mean, there's so much that shoots here. Yeah. There really is.
There's definitely more work in Los Angeles for TV and film, though.
There's a lot of stuff that shoots here. I would definitely go out there for a little bit and see what happens. You know, even now, because now I'm doing more television and film, but it was never like a big aspiration of mine. I toyed with the idea, but to say that it's a regret, it's not really a regret. It's just like oh, that would have been cool. That's all.
My suggestion to anyone that's considering LA, if you're considering it, do it. It's by the most part, you don't have to be young to book work out there, but it is a young person's market, and should be recording. Definitely go out to Los Angeles if you're out there. It's hard in any city that you're going to try to make a career. It's no easier here than it is in Los Angeles. Yeah. I hear all the time, I'll only go out there if I have work or rep. Well, who the hell's going to book you?
Right.
Just go out there and grind it just as you would grind it in New York if you want that.
And you have to be even more driven out in LA because the energy is so different.
Right.
The energy in New York feeds ambitious people.
Yeah.
The energy in LA is so relaxed that
The culture's more chill.
It's just way more chill. It's awesome.
Bring
but
your
it's
A
just
game,
like,
bring your New York work ethic.
yeah, you just got to bring your work ethic
Just,
out there.
yeah, turn up the volume, make it happen. But yeah, if it's in you to do it, like today is the right time to do it. Now you're thinking about doing it, just do it. New York City will always be here. You can always come back.
And also so many things cast on tape now too.
You know, like, that's
like you honestly can be anywhere.
Yeah. I'll be teaching a class on how to shoot home videos, like how to make studio quality home
Oh, really?
videos.
Self-tapes?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Everyone should have that.
Where?
Why is anyone booking rooms, spending money? These are all, you could do this at home.
Oh,
Anyone can do
you're
it.
totally right. That's a great idea to do a class.
Yeah. I'll have a kit.
Where are you doing it?
I'm going to do it here. There's
That's
2 classes I'm starting.
Genius.
There's 2 classes I'll be doing. One is the headshot photography, how to make a business doing it. And the other one is self-tape.
That's really smart.
Yeah. That, like, everyone should be doing this at home. Stop booking appointments. Stop spending money. You'll have your return on investment in 6 auditions.
That's so smart.
Yeah. School or no school, we touched on that. What project are you currently involved in? Do you have anything that you want to share or discuss?
Sure. So I am now a hyphenate, which means I do a lot of things.
What?
I'm an actress / singer / director / producer / writer now. I do a lot of things now. So I'm on season 3 of The Deuce. I play Amy Goldman.
Wow.
So you can catch me on The Deuce. I play opposite Luke Kirby, who's a detective cracking down on the porn industry in the 80s. Yeah, I wear a lot of mom jeans and a lot of big hair, and it's really great.
Wow.
And then I wrote a screenplay that got optioned by Dolphin Entertainment, and our director, we haven't announced it yet, but she's a big deal, and we're really excited. And we're supposed to be shooting in the spring. And I wrote it with my friend Eric Holmes, who's a writer on The Good Fight on CBS. So it's a rom-com, and it's very family-centered and very funny and good. So hopefully you guys like it.
Yo, you are kicking ass.
And I direct the USO show troupe. So I manage 30 performers, and I send them all over the world performing for our military and their families. I put together all their programming. I hire in the music directors, the music arrangers, the choreographers, putting together the programming for our service members, which is a really, really rewarding job.
This ties back to her, part of her mission statement, we'll call it, her core 4, which is the drive. Janine is a workhorse. That is part of the one of the qualities I would say it does take. You have to be obsessive about wanting to work and continue to work hard. She's super successful, and she's probably working as harder than she was when she was grinding it out, starting her business.
I'm working in a different way now, but I will say that the curiosity.
You're working in an elevated way, but you get your hands in. You have the opportunity to get your hands in other avenues, and maybe you're not putting in the work of eating ramen noodles and starving your way through it, but you're not sitting on your laurels either.
No,
that's my point.
I think though what I will say is I think that a lot of actors think that they can only do one thing, they can only act, and that's great. That's totally, totally great. I think it's really important though for you as a person and as an actor to kind of have an inner dialogue and where you're wondering what else you can do, because you're gonna what else am I capable of? And that's something that I always asked myself, what else could I do? When you were starting your photography business, I really loved starting that with you. That was something where I was like, oh, we would come up with these names for these packages and things like that. Like, so I used like a different side of my brain in that way. Like, yes, I'm an actor. Yes, I'm a singer, but like, oh, I'm also like kind of good at marketing. Oh, and then like, oh, I have an idea for a screenplay. I wonder what would happen if I just started writing it. You know, like there are things that can, oh, interesting. This project is happening. I want to get involved and I want to maybe try to fundraise for it. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's curiosity and like the what if I tried this can be like really exciting because then you're growing as a person, you know? And I think it informs the characters that you play because then you're kind of you're just a more well-rounded individual with different points of views and you're meeting different kinds of people in these different avenues that you're exploring. So I personally think that it's good to start thinking about what else you're good at. You know, people start saying like, you know, if you can picture yourself doing anything else, don't be an actor. I'm like, I think that's kind of crazy because I think that we're all capable of so many things.
Guaranteed. Anyone that's listening, and including you and I even, are far more capable than what we think we are.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe that you are only as capable as you think you are.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's so equipped to do a lot.
Maximize what you're good at. Exploit everything that you're good at and that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And hopefully they meet somewhere in the middle. But you should absolutely maximize your your skills and talents. You should not be squandering anything that you're really good at.
Yeah.
And it's good to be laser beamed on certain things, but like what you're mentioning too, it's all sort of within the same family too.
It's all within the same family of creativity.
It's not like you're trying to be a professional snowboarder and also pursue.
No. And I'm like,
Broadway.
and I'm trying to be a surgeon. Like, no, they're all within the same like umbrella of the arts and creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. This was awesome. Do you have anything else you want to share? Because I know you need to get going. It's late in the day and you need to get home and probably do some more work and emails and all that.
I need to make dinner.
And you have to make dinner.
And see my husband and my doggy.
Oh, that's right. Yes. We both need your attention.
No, I'm very proud of you for what you've done.
Thank you.
I've seen you from the beginning.
Janine, she'll love that. It'll make her feel good. Janine, there's an Ian in there. Janine was with me when I started my business. I was probably 4 months in, and then you and I met. Yeah, 3-4 months, because I remember showing you my website.
You'd taken... Yeah, you hadn't launched it yet, though.
Really?
No, you hadn't launched it.
Yeah. And then Janine...
And you had taken photos like on the roof or something. Of the moon or something. You were like showing me pictures of that. It was really early.
Yes.
It was really, really early.
Dude, it was 2008. Because I launched 2009.
Yeah, it was early.
Like early January 2009. 10 years in business I've been in now. Wow. It's been 10 years. 10 years, a decade.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Technically, we're experts now. God knows we put in the hours. 10,000 hours, I think I had that done by like year 3.
You did. Started sprouting gray hairs.
Yeah. It's all good. Janine, this was awesome. Thank you. I'll probably want to do another one with you again. We will do another one.
Sure.
I have a lot more questions I could have asked you, but we'll keep it relatively concise for this one. I think it was some fun questions you answered too, and offering your insight to the career path you've chosen or taken to finding your success in this business, which is volatile, emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster ride, and everyone finds their own way. It's nice to hear how people get to the top that do make it. So thanks for sharing, and
thanks for having me.
And hold on, let's fade up the music here. I got my music fade. Is it this one?
You got music?
Yeah.